Hello, parents and guardians. This is my weekly update to you. I have to continue to start my weekly update by reminding you to be safe. I know that we are providing instruction virtually, but COVID 19 is still alive and real, definitely in this state and definitely in our county. So please, although we are receiving our instruction through virtual means, parents, guardians, scholars, please be safe. Parents, we communicate with you through school status. So please make sure that your phone numbers are updated because that is the way that we will communicate with you. You can update your contact information readily through our active parent or through your active parent account. This has been the first week of virtual instruction, and like you have probably learned, we have learned a lot about virtual instruction during this week. I would like to say that parents, we have been very impressed by your patience, your willingness to work with us. You have just been a joy to work with in helping us overcome these challenges that we're facing. So, as your superintendent, I want to thank you for the patience that you've had this week as we travel this journey together. As I said in my messages before, we will not be able to do this alone. So, parents, thank you for working with us as we work through any challenges that we may have in providing virtual instruction. We're very happy to know that our scholars, they are logging on, they are getting on, and it has been as smooth as it can go. Based upon this is something that we have not done in our school district before, providing virtual instruction for every scholar. It has gone surprisingly well. As we talk to teacher practitioners when we're in the buildings, they seem to think that it is going as well as can be expected, being that is new. And even in talking to some of the scholars as we pop into classrooms on the virtual screen, they say that it is going well also. Please know that your scholars, they must log into their virtual classrooms daily. Junior high school and high school students, they must log in at the beginning of each block. Virtual instruction begins at 8 o'clock a.m. and it ends at 1:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, scholars will receive face-to-face virtual instruction. Friday is a personalized learning day for scholars. Friday is not a free day. Scholars will still have to log in on Friday. They must log in on Friday and they will begin to work on their personalized learning path. That personalized learning path could be different for every scholar, but there will be a teacher practitioner who will be assigned to those scholars to work on their personalized learning path. It might be the teacher practitioner that they have had all week, or it may be someone else. But they have to log in on Fridays, and if it is a high school student or a junior high school student, when they log in, they must log in for every block that they have on Friday as well. So, as scholars log in on Monday through Thursday, those scholars should also log in the same way on Friday. Want to clear up any confusion that may be on Friday. Attendance is taken every day. Attendance is going to be taken Monday through Friday. A scholar will be marked absent if that scholar does not log in or if that scholar has not made any attendance arrangements with the teacher. We know that there are some scholars who may not have internet access right now. There are some scholars who are working on a packet. The teacher should have communicated with the parent and the scholar on how we would track attendance for those individuals and those scholars who may not have internet access at the time. Your teacher should have communicated that to you. Parents, we want to make sure that our scholars are ready to participate in virtual learning every day, Monday through Friday. Unless arrangements have been made with your principal, all K-8 scholars, they must be in uniform. All 9 through 12 scholars must adhere to our district's dress code. Parents, if you have not contacted your principal regarding any uniform arrangements, please do so at this time. If you've not contacted their principal, then we're going to expect all K-8 students to be in uniform to make sure that they're ready. What we've experienced some of our scholars not being dressed appropriately for that virtual learning environment. We have experienced some of our scholars even being in bed participating in virtual learning. We know that that is not ready for school. We need to do everything in our power to make sure that our scholars are ready for the virtual instruction every day. Any scholar that doesn't comply with those virtual learning guidelines, those virtual learning rules, will be dismissed from that class by the teacher, and they will be placed in a waiting room until that teacher allows that scholar to re-enter. Any scholar who is dismissed from class and placed in a waiting room, the parent will be notified via school status of what has happened with your scholar, and after 1:30 p.m. that day, you will also receive a phone call regarding what happened with your scholar during that time frame. Virtual instruction is very important. We need to make sure that we maximize every minute that we have with our virtual learning. Parents, it is absolutely necessary that daily our scholars participate in the virtual learning piece. If you need any assistance, please let us know. It is also very important that in this virtual environment, we know that there are parents at home at times that you are there with your scholar. Please make sure that if you have to correct a scholar, that you are using the appropriate language to correct that scholar. Know that virtually, the other scholars in that virtual classroom can hear you. The teacher can hear you. So please just make sure that if you have to correct your scholar, that you are using the appropriate language. We don't want any scholar to be embarrassed doing the virtual learning. So make sure that we use appropriate language. Parents, if you have any questions or concerns as you try to help your scholar, you can have your scholar to raise their hand, and the teacher practitioner will try to assist that scholar. And if you're trying to assist them, that teacher will help you. But please know that we want scholars to complete their work themselves. This is a learning experience, so we want to make sure that scholars complete the work themselves. We have found that there are some parents who are trying to assist the scholars as they complete that work. Parents, yes, we want you to help your scholars, but that is not the time to help your scholars, because the teacher practitioner is there to help them at that time. So please allow the teacher practitioner to help your scholars. Please allow your child to have some type of productive struggle in trying to figure that out on their own. And if there is any assistance that the teacher needs, please know that that teacher will provide that assistance to your scholar. To eliminate any background noise, our scholars should have on earbuds or they should have on headphones, because there is background noise at some point that can interfere with the learning. If there are multiple scholars in a room, it is very important that those scholars have headphones or earbuds so that they're not distracted from the noise that's going on from one virtual classroom to another virtual classroom. Baseline testing at some of our schools will begin next week. Schools should communicate with you regarding that baseline testing that may happen next week. During this baseline testing, we're getting critical information, critical data from your scholar. So it's very important that your scholar complete that baseline assessment themselves, so that we know specifically where those scholars are, so that we can provide them with what they need in order to be successful, so that we can meet their personalized needs. If there is any help, if parents or any other siblings are helping those scholars as they take that baseline assessment, we get flawed data, and we may not be able to provide that scholar with everything that he or she may need in order to be successful or in order to reach whatever they have in their learning path. So it's very important that the scholars themselves complete that work. Our hotspots. I want to let you know that our hotspots, they have arrived. We're in the process now of determining how we will distribute those hotspots. Parents, if you have already received a call and you have communicated with the school that you need a hotspot, you do not need to call the school again. We have that information on you, and we will be contacting you anytime after Wednesday of next week on how we would deliver that hotspot for you. So parents, if you have received a call from the school asking you if you have internet access and you have already responded to an individual at the school, please don't call the school to tell the school that you need a hotspot. If you do need a hotspot and you have not already communicated with the school, please call the school next week. Let them know who you are, your scholar's name, give them your contact information so that we would have that. If you call the school next week, it means that you have not already contacted the school regarding a hotspot. When you call the school, please make sure that you leave your name, you leave your scholar's name, and you also leave a contact number that we can contact you on. It's very critical that we have accurate contact information on you. Our meals, they're still being provided. Those meals are being provided, and they're delivered Monday through Friday during the hours of 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. If there are any issues with delivering your meals, please call the Child Nutrition Office at 601-684-4661 and ask for Miss Sue Ellen Cotty. She will be able to assist you. Parents, I want to say again that just the support that you've given the Macomb School District this last week as we provide virtual learning instruction for our scholars, it has just been amazing. And so that shows me, that shows the community that we can do great things when we work together, when we put our heads together, we can do great things. Although this is an unfortunate situation, we're making the best out of it. Parents, I know that this is, for some of you, I know that this is not the best situation for you because some of parents have to work. And we know that the best thing for our scholars is to have our scholars in school. Unfortunately, we don't think that that is the best thing right now for students in the Macomb School District. So work with us, bear with us. We will get through this together. I would encourage you to, if you are struggling with how to provide this virtual learning for your scholar, please contact the school so that we can have a one-on-one conversation with you, an uninterrupted one-on-one conversation with you. That conversation may have to take place after 1:30 so that we can give you specifically what you need and the attention that you need. If you are struggling with somewhere to have your child during the day, I would suggest that maybe you can contact some other parents to see if you all can work together on how we can partner together to make sure that our children, that your children receive that virtual instruction. It's just like sports. When we are playing travel ball, we get with parents to make sure that, okay, on this day you're going to transport the children to whatever game that they have. So parents, we have to be very creative in making sure that we do this for our children. Some of our children are at daycares. We have experienced some of our children not being on task at daycares. The principals are going to those daycares, having conversations with the daycare owners, and also they are reaching out to the parents to let the parents know. Daycare owners, if you have any scholars in the Macomb School District who are there, and you need any assistance, please contact the school and we will make sure that someone gets to that daycare to provide you with the assistance that you need, because again, we are in this together, and I think that together we can do this. Next week starts our second week of virtual instruction. We know that next week will be much better than this week. And if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us. Make sure you register your children. Now, what I want to tell you about registration is just because you registered your child, it does not necessarily mean your child is enrolled. Registration doesn't mean enrollment. Enrollment means that your child would have to log on into the system or to be marked present, or your child would have to make those other attendance arrangements if your child doesn't have internet access, or if your child doesn't, or if your child is working on an academic packet. So please know that just because you have registered your child, if your child is not logged on or done any of those other things with attendance arrangements, then your child right now is registered, but your child is not enrolled. If you have registered your child and that child has a device and you are not enrolled, we will be contacting you because we need that device back because your child is not enrolled. So I'd encourage you, if you have a device and your child is not logged on or anything of that nature, then next week we need to make those arrangements so that your child is enrolled in school. Parents and students, please do not give out your Zoom links. Those Zoom links are very important because that's how we have that face-to-face interaction. So please do not give out your Zoom links. The only way that scholars are going to be admitted to class is if that scholar is on the roster of that teacher, and that teacher will admit those scholars to the virtual classroom one by one. A scholar will not be admitted if that scholar is not on the roster for that teacher. Also, we want all scholars to show their face because we don't know who you are if we cannot see your face. So scholars, when you are admitted, please make sure that your teacher practitioner sees your face so the teacher practitioner know that you are the right student for that virtual class. That is very important. Students, we want to make sure that you use your name. We don't want a nickname. We don't want what they call you. We want the name that we have in our system for you. For instance, I am Cedric Ellis. I should not say Ceddy Said, or I should not use anything else in recognizing myself in the virtual learning environment other than the name that has been assigned to me. I know that we have given you a lot this week, but there is a lot that we've learned through our first week of virtual instruction. We will learn more next week, and we will again navigate these challenges together. Parents, if this is causing you any grief or any frustration, we apologize. Please contact us so that we can work through this together. We don't want any parent to be frustrated. We don't want any scholar to be frustrated. We knew that this week would be kind of rocky because this is the first time that we've done this school-wide. This is the first time that we've done this district-wide. So we knew that it would be kind of rocky, but let's get through this together. I know that we can, and I know that we will. So parents, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to us so that we can help and we can guide you through this. This is something that our scholars are accustomed to. We call them 21st century digital natives, so they know how to do these things, and don't let them tell you that they don't, because they will. And scholars, please don't try to do that to your parents or guardians. Please don't do that to your parents or guardians. I want you, scholars, to help them through this process because you know what to do. This will be an amazing school year. It will be an amazing school year in spite of. So parents, guardians, scholars, until next week, stay tuned. We look forward to seeing you Monday morning in your virtual environments. So have a safe and great weekend.